Welcome to Streaming News Network by Claude McDaniel. News without the hype and biased reporting. Please like and subscribe.
This is Claude McDaniel with Streaming News Network. Two former teachers at Centennial High School in Peoria, Arizona, are facing allegations involving the same teenage student following a lengthy police investigation. According to investigators, both educators were placed on administrative leave in August of 2025 after allegations surfaced. One teacher later resigned, while the other was terminated by the school district's governing board. Police submitted potential criminal charges to the Maricopa County Attorney's Office. Haley Beck is accused of pandering, while Angela Berlacca is accused of providing obscene material to a minor. Prosecutors have requested additional investigation before making charging decisions. Authorities allege that Beck began grooming a student before he reached adulthood in December of 2024. Investigators claim she provided special treatment in class, altered grades and attendance records, purchased gifts, food, alcohol, and drugs, and gave the student more than $600. Detectives also report that the pair exchanged more than 4,000 text messages over approximately 6 weeks, many of which allegedly discussed sexual and illegal activity. No arrests have been announced, and the investigation remains ongoing. This is Claude McDaniel for Streaming News Network. A newly reported declassified intelligence document is raising questions about the possible misuse of United States foreign aid intended for Ukraine. According to reports, the document alleges that discussions took place in 2022 involving Ukrainian officials and unidentified United States government personnel concerning funds originally approved through the United States Agency for International Development, commonly known as USAID. The report, first publicized by Just the News, claims the funding was connected to a proposed Ukrainian infrastructure and clean energy project. The document reportedly alleges that the project could have been used to redirect a substantial portion of the allocated funds for political purposes related to the 2024 United States presidential election. The intelligence summary is described as based on intercepted communications. However, the allegations have not been independently verified, and no public evidence has been released demonstrating that any such plan was carried out. According to the report, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard has directed investigators to examine the matter further and determine whether any criminal referrals should be made to federal law enforcement authorities. At this time, no charges have been announced, and the allegations remain under review. This is Claude McDaniel for Streaming News Network. The U.S. Department of Justice has announced what officials describe as the largest healthcare fraud enforcement action in American history. The nationwide operation resulted in charges against 455 defendants, including 90 doctors and other licensed medical professionals. Authorities allege the schemes involved more than $6.5 billion in fraudulent healthcare claims and, in some cases, caused significant patient harm. Federal officials say investigations spanned 56 federal districts and 45 states and territories. More than 1,000 providers have been suspended from federal healthcare programs, while hundreds more have lost billing privileges. Among the largest cases are allegations involving fraudulent wound treatment products, hospice fraud, Medicaid scams, telemedicine schemes, and unnecessary medical testing. Prosecutors say several defendants used proceeds from the alleged fraud to purchase luxury homes, exotic vehicles, jewelry, artwork, and overseas real estate developments. Authorities also reported international cooperation that led to arrests and extraditions connected to multi-billion-dollar fraud investigations. Officials say advanced data analytics and artificial intelligence played a key role in identifying suspicious billing patterns and tracking fraudulent activity. The cases remain allegations, and all defendants are presumed innocent unless proven guilty in court. This is Claude McDaniel for Streaming News Network. A North Korean soldier is now in South Korean custody after crossing the heavily fortified Demilitarized Zone, commonly known as the DMZ, separating the two nations. South Korea's military says the soldier crossed the border Tuesday night and was safely taken into custody by South Korean forces. Authorities are currently investigating his identity and the circumstances that led to the crossing. If confirmed as a defection, it would be the first known case involving a North Korean soldier since October of 2025. The incident comes amid reports that North Korea has significantly strengthened border security in recent years. Under the leadership of Kim Jong-un, the country has expanded the use of barbed wire fencing, land mines, and surveillance systems along sensitive border areas. Crossings through the DMZ remain exceptionally rare due to the extensive military presence and security measures on both sides. Most North Koreans who successfully flee the country typically travel through China and other neighboring nations before eventually seeking refuge in South Korea. Defections from North Korea have declined sharply in recent years as border restrictions intensified following the COVID-19 pandemic. This is Claude McDaniel for Streaming News Network. ESPN National Football League draft analyst Matt Miller says he is fortunate to be alive after a serious vehicle crash in Missouri that resulted in the loss of his left arm. In a statement posted this week, the 42-year-old sports analyst revealed that he underwent what he described as a life-saving amputation following the June 17 collision. He also suffered multiple fractures and broken ribs. According to reports, Miller was driving a 2023 Ford Bronco in Jasper County, Missouri, when his vehicle crossed the center line and collided with a semi-truck. The truck driver was not injured. Miller was airlifted to a hospital in Joplin, where he received emergency treatment. He expressed gratitude to first responders, doctors, nurses, and medical staff, crediting them with saving his life. The longtime draft analyst said he is focused on recovery and taking his rehabilitation one day at a time. He also thanked supporters for their prayers and encouragement and said he looks forward to returning to ESPN and covering future National Football League drafts. ESPN issued a statement expressing support for Miller and wishing him strength during his recovery. This is Claude McDaniel of Streaming News Network. Authorities in Stafford County, Virginia, say a 19-year-old woman and a juvenile have been arrested after investigators allegedly uncovered plans to kill members of the juvenile's family. The investigation began on June 16 when deputies responded to reports of reckless driving after a vehicle reportedly left the roadway and struck a speed limit sign. Later that evening, officers located the vehicle outside a convenience store and arrested both occupants. According to the Stafford County Sheriff's Office, deputies discovered multiple knives, medical supplies, and a notebook during a search of the vehicle. Investigators allege the notebook contained details outlining two separate murder plots targeting the juvenile's family. Authorities also reported finding alcoholic beverages and allegedly stolen food in the vehicle. 19-year-old Lewis Conley has been charged with multiple offenses, including conspiracy to commit murder, felony threats in writing, contributing to the delinquency of a minor, drug possession, and hit and run. The juvenile faces charges including conspiracy to commit murder and felony threats in writing. Officials have not disclosed a possible motive, and it remains unclear how the two suspects became acquainted. Both individuals are being held in separate detention facilities as the investigation continues. The allegations have not been proven in court, and both defendants are presumed innocent unless convicted. This is Claude McDaniel with Streaming News Network. Music legend Daryl Hall has announced that he is recovering after undergoing a successful kidney transplant. The 79-year-old singer shared the news with fans on social media, revealing that he received a kidney from a living donor several weeks ago. Hall said the transplant was a complete success and that he is already beginning to feel better. According to Hall, doctors expect him to make a full recovery over the coming months, and he hopes to return to performing and recording music in the near future. Hall has previously spoken publicly about his battle with Lyme disease, a condition he was diagnosed with in 2006 after suffering a tick bite years earlier. The illness forced him to cancel performances and cope with recurring symptoms including fatigue, headaches, and tremors. Best known as one half of the legendary duo Hall & Oates, Hall helped create some of the most recognizable hits of the 1970s and 1980s, including Rich Girl, Private Eyes, Man-Eater, and Out of Touch. The announcement comes as Hall continues to focus on his health and recovery while fans around the world send their support and well wishes. This is Claude McDaniel with Streaming News Network. Maryland State Delegate Adrian Bofo has won the Democratic primary for Maryland's 5th Congressional District, positioning him as the likely successor to retiring Congressman Steny Hoyer. Bofo emerged victorious from a crowded field of nearly 24 candidates seeking to replace Hoyer, who announced his retirement earlier this year after representing the district for more than 4 decades. Among Bofo's most prominent challengers was Harry Dunn, the former U.S. Capitol Police officer who gained national attention for his service during the January 6, 2021, Capitol attack. Political observers note that Bofo's campaign benefited from significant support from outside organizations, including groups aligned with the cryptocurrency industry and pro-Israel advocacy efforts. Reports indicate those groups spent more than $10 million backing his candidacy. Bofo also secured endorsements from several prominent Maryland Democrats, including Hoyer, Governor Wes Moore, and Senator Angela Alsobrooks. Given the district's strong Democratic voting history, political analysts believe Bofo enters the general election as the overwhelming favorite. This is Claude McDaniel with Streaming News Network. Political tensions are growing within New York's Democratic Party following a series of primary election victories by candidates endorsed by New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani. Among those expressing concern is Letitia James, who questioned whether some newly elected candidates have sufficient ties to the communities they will represent. In post-election interviews, James said some Democratic leaders are disappointed by the direction of the party's internal divisions. Mamdani-backed candidates scored several notable wins Tuesday, including victories in congressional and state legislative races. Analysts say the results highlight a growing divide between progressive and establishment wings of the Democratic Party. Supporters of Mamdani's movement argue the victories reflect voter frustration with traditional party leadership and a desire for new voices in government. Critics, however, warn that ideological divisions could weaken Democrats in future elections. Mamdani celebrated the results as evidence that a broader political movement is gaining momentum across New York. James acknowledged concerns about the current state of the Democratic Party but urged unity, suggesting party leaders should work toward finding common ground rather than deepening internal conflicts. Political observers say the primary results could have implications beyond New York as Democrats nationwide debate the future direction of the party.
Thank you for listening to Streaming News Network videos, Shorts. Please like and subscribe to our news channel.